Hello, cats and kittens, felines and felidae, humans and variant humans, and every race, class, and subclass. Welcome to another episode of One Shots from the Meowing Portal. This is Season 2, Episode 2. And with me, as always, are my fantastic role players. Here we have Autodoc Blue 32, played by Game Knight 00.
Hello. Good
And
evening.
And here we have Marin Metalunath, played by Marin Mermaid.
Hiya, welcome in.
And here we have Hubie, who is played by Shy Bunny Servant.
Hey there, it's good to be back.
Alright, so this episode is entitled All in the Wizardry. And, well, when we last left our heroes, they have been sharing an enchanted tent in the middle of a completely empty void in between dimensions. And this has been really unfortunate as of late because Brainy has been brooding. Is that everybody knows at this point, Brainy does get into certain kinds of moods when he feels emotionally conflicted, and he has mostly just been sulking around the tent, trying to uh, get some work done and trying to avoid the other three members of the group. We close in on him as he is sitting on a very pillowy couch, leafing rather aggressively through a very large book.
Approaches Brainy and says, "Greetings, Brainy.
Uh,
What are you doing?"
well, I kind of hard to say. You know, this was also much easier when I had the whole library at my disposal. I just have this one book right now. It's an omnibus, and it was written by Bosch, trying to figure out how he handled his indexing.
You are not familiar with his organizational methods?
Oh, well, I am familiar with his organizational methods, but I think they could have stood to be better.
Well, when we run into Bosch again, perhaps you should submit an improved plan to him.
Well, that's another thing is that Bosch is somewhere lost in the multiverse, assuming that he was actually able to escape the destruction of Metaluna in the same way that we were able to.
I am certain that a wizard of Bosch's caliber would certainly have no trouble escaping the fate that befell Metalunath.
So Brainy claps the book shut, he leaves it on the couch, and then he just begins to stroll further inward into the tent and say, well, at any rate, I don't think I'm going to get anything done this way. I feel maybe I should try to focus on something else.
If it's not too bold to say, Brainy, you seem troubled of late, and I would, as your friend, like to help you through whatever it is that you're going through. So I have added some problem solving to my comfort protocols. Observe.
Oh, gee
Brainy,
whiz. What is
are
it?
you troubled? Are you troubled by the awful haircut that you received 2 weeks ago from the groomer?
Well, I'm pretty sure they were really just overcompensating for the fact that they've never had a talking cat in their possession and therefore never got any particular kind of criticisms.
Perhaps perhaps it's that terrible grilled cheese that you made last week that everyone pretended to like, but everyone secretly hated and spat out when you weren't looking. Was it that?
Uh, Wait, people didn't like my grilled cheese?
Maybe it was the fact that you were the sole member of the team to perform inadequately at the tournament battle in the realm of the gods. Was it that? Was it that?
Frickety, frackety, big, biggity, boo, lockety, schmuckety, itty,
And
fritty,
suddenly
son
Akuma
of
pretty
a.
much pops out of the pools as if he was summoned from beyond the continent. He pretty much piped up, was because Reddy lost.
Okay, well,
Guys, you don't have to say it like that. Don't rub it in his face.
No. It helps to identify the problem.
Cube looks a little bit confused. But Baron said that's a lie.
okay,
It's
that's
not
enough.
a lie. It's about wording
That's
wording the
enough.
truth in a way that's more comfortable.
I don't think there's a really a comfortable way to say it. It's precisely why I've been indexing this whole time. Is I keep looking back at the entirety of the discipline of the Wizards of Denier, and I am just baffled that I wasn't able to do anything in that situation. The way that we have put together our structure as a group is probably leaves us completely and totally vulnerable to the possibility of fighting an extraplanar creature.
Cube pretty much says, is like, ghost?
Yeah, a ghost. I guess we never thought that we would the wizards of possessing knowledge of all living things would ever have to confront themselves with knowledge of any non-living things.
Huh.
As I'd be conferring, I'd be writing a report, I'd be giving it to the other Denarians for consideration, but of course I can't do that because I inadvertently destroyed the realm that we hail from.
You didn't do anything. They did.
Cube pipes up again. Yeah, all bad people's fault.
I have to agree with Marin and the boy on this.
Yeah,
Clearly, that was outside of your control.
Besides, if you try to
Cube's
put
kind
the
of sort of like
blame,
get out of the pillows.
because if you try to put the blame on yourself, then that inadvertently puts the blame on us too. So are you really going to tell us that it's our fault that our realm is gone?
Well, I guess I really wasn't looking about things your way. And so he wanders up, a piece of furniture, and he glances over to the side. Say, what's that?
Hmm?
He turns around and he's holding another slip of paper. It's a work
That'll just
order.
be another one of Cubic. Oh, it's not?
Yeah, Cube like goes over and has a look at kind of looking it up and down and says, "Not Cube's. Cube would know."
It's a work order. I'm pretty sure we didn't bring any of the old ones with us when we evacuated.
What is the number?
Um, well, it's a 0001 from. Let me see. Well, looking at these coordinates here, I don't think that we've ever been in this place. At least I've never seen it in any of the older records.
This must be the first one of the new numbering system since the system has been reset after
Hold
the
on.
events.
You think Cube might be able to like recognize like some certain people's handwriting?
Well, give me an intelligence when it comes to that.
Oh boy. All right. Let me just. It took me a bit. All right. Let's see. Intellect, so that'll be 2 dice,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
All right. Let me just. Oh, how will that work? It's a 6 and a 5.
Mm-hmm. So really, this is the very
Successes.
tip of the potential intelligence that QB can display. So I would say that at least you do see it as being familiar.
Cube actually is holding the note now. He says, Cube's seen this before.
Well, yeah, we've all seen it before. Is that this is how we used to
No,
get
like
our own
later.
message?
And Cube pretty much said, is written by Bosch.
Huh? He managed to escape?
Yeah,
I
Cube
told you
pretty
a
much holds up
wizard
the
of
paper
that
to the
caliber.
others. It's like, Bosch wrote it.
I
Let me
told you
see
a
what
wizard
they
of
do.
that caliber would have no trouble escaping.
So Brainy takes that out and he compares it to the book that he was just looking into. No, I actually think QB has a point. It looks an awful lot like Bosch's handwriting.
Oh, yeah. Here, Otto, take a look. You can see how Bosch sometimes forgets to dot his I's.
Analysis mode engaged, and Otto's eyes get like they change color to like a bright yellow and start scanning the page. Yes, this is almost certainly Bosch's handwriting.
What does it mean? Maybe this is his way of finally contacting us. I mean, go. I don't want to be so quick as to just enter coordinates I don't know into the portal and then jump in. It's kind of how we got into this mess to begin with.
Hmm.
If we have the thinnest chance it is Bosch, though, it would definitely take us pretty quickly out of the situation that we're in.
Yeah, it would. Here, we can double check the notes too. He never crosses his T's. You should probably double check to make sure that it's not a forgery.
Hmm. It
All
feels
right,
like it
I'll
is, but it isn't.
I'll do like some more like analysis. I'll do like some more like distinguishing like copies of like the writing.
Is that eventually, yeah, we find QB just scribbling randomly on pieces of paper. And it's through his
Yeah.
interpretation is that, it looks like this and it looks like this, but it doesn't look the same when he's done placing things on paper with crayons.
Yeah, Cube looks like he's freaking pretty hard, and like he recognizes like some sort of thing while looking at the book and looking at the note. Oh, and like the differences in like some of the shapes of the letters. It says maybe he wrote Bosch wrote on something different.
So Brainy is, just trying to figure out specifically what that means. That he wrote in something different, but that wouldn't the way that he writes. That wouldn't affect the way that he
Pretty
writes.
much holds up. Kibe pretty much says Kibe been all over the catch the jam. And as Bosch's desk to win and let these things happen.
Hmm. Well, I guess there's really only one way to find out. Let's go ahead and let's take this to the
All right.
portal.
Alright, got nothing else left to lose.
Perhaps a success on this adventure will make you feel less inadequate, friend.
We really,
Yeah, something like that. Something like that, Otto.
we really need to work on your comfort protocol.
Was that not comforting?
So we step through the portal. We emerge in.
Cube sort of goes first to make sure, like, the others will be safe, like, when he goes through.
And so we find ourselves in just this beautiful valley of a realm that, constructed cottages following down just long stoneway paths. There's a lot of gentle light flowing through the sections of bright green treetops.
And that's exactly why you shouldn't use the word inadequate. Oh. Wow.
Hmm.
Of all the things, Cube seems unnerved.
This seems pleasant enough. But looks
Yeah,
could
you
be
guys look at Cube,
deceiving.
he seems like sort of disagree. Like he's like he's like sort of being a little more anxious, like sort of similar to what, and like he feels like something is wrong, but he can't really pin down what. He just thinks that something might be wrong here.
All right. Well, let's mosey up to where this address takes us and see what we might be able to potentially do. So, continue to follow up the path, and then you just kind of see this perfectly ordinary wooden cottage up on the hill. Thin breeze sweeping through the air.
This is the place?
Seems
It
that
is
way.
very unassuming.
Cube doesn't like this.
Well, hey, the cat's pajamas was pretty unassuming at first, too.
Cube pretty much throws back. This, this don't, this not right.
There's,
Looks like he's sort
I
of
have to
drifting
admit,
off into
even at this
thought.
point, is that for the archwizard, this seems rather plain.
Well, Bosch is rather intelligent, right? It wouldn't make sense to have a showy beacon of his new hideout. That would just lead everyone right back to here.
And so, as they're discussing this, is that the front door opens, and what comes out is almost unmistakably Bosch, but he is just wearing regular tunics. Um, while ordinarily he would have the tip of his beard tied with a couple of beads, this time it is just completely and totally loose. And he is also wearing a hat that looks something like a Stetson.
That is a very unusual wizard's hat. Would you not agree, Marin?
Bit, but maybe the
Cube
new
pretty
fashion
much
choice is also a part of this.
Cube just looks like he is just broke down. He is dead inside.
Oh, come on, the hat's not that bad, QB.
Oh, hello there. You must be the Denarian wizards. Is that
Yeah,
I had found out about you from a little bit of information I was able to obtain from one of the books that we have in the cottage. By all means, come in, come in.
of course. Before so, she leans down to whisper to Brainy. Hey, see, does he not recognize us?
It seems that way. Ah, gosh,
I
what
don't know
could?
if this is just him playing a bit.
Is this some kind of
Cube
ruse?
actually Cube actually kind of tugs on Marin's sleeve. He even kind of whispers, Cube doesn't want us to go inside.
It's gonna be okay, QB. We gotta figure out what's going on, and if this is a work order, then we'll have our job again.
Cube just like looks around and up down at Bosch's set, and well whispers back, Cube knows fakes.
Fakes.
Uh, hmm. Whatever this is something we could handle,
Hey,
probably.
maybe you should wait out here, QB. We'll go ahead and go inside, and you can keep an eye out for anything potentially suspicious.
Oh no, if we're going to separate again.
Yeah, Cube practically like grabs onto Marin's leg and shakes his head.
Look, I'm not going anywhere. I can stay out here with you, alright? Would that make you feel better?
Cube nods.
Besides, if this is Bosch, then Otto and Brainy should know him best. They'll be able to uncover whatever's going on. I'm not going to be separated from you again, okay?
Kive nods again and is like and says, "Okay."
Here, we'll just sit out here on the porch. And Marin takes a plop on the stairs to the porch.
Otto
Kive's
walks
also here, like
by.
his feet are kind of dangling, hanging over like the stair, or his
Otto pats Cube on the head. Do not fear your abandonment, little one. We are present. No one will leave you behind.
Brainy is stunned. So it takes all he can in order just to lift himself up on his tiny feet and begin walking towards the interior of the cottage. See, once they're inside, I mean, you can see it's just as cozy a 4-room cottage as it possibly can. And almost immediately, as soon as they walk in the living area, there is the Crown Prince Frederick, Penelope, and their 2 children. Penelope is sitting in a rocking chair. Uh, uh, Frederick is in the middle of sharpening a kitchen knife, and then the other 2 and the children are just sitting on the bare floor playing with some jacks.
Otto walks in and says, "Greetings. It is pleasant to once again be in your presence."
So Frederick looks up and he says, "Oh well, gosh, I knew that they would be sending some exuberant types of people. I wasn't anticipating it being a whole giant robotic citizen. Gosh, what's the
It
best
is
way to
I,
put them?"
your old. It is I, Crown Prince Frederick, your old friend, Otto Doc Blue 37. You recall
Hmm.
our adventures?
Oh no, adventures! I would never dream of such a thing.
But what? Brainy? Brainy,
Uh,
he's.
oh, help. It's good to meet you. Uh, I'm sorry. I don't believe that I've ever gotten your name. Well, the automaton was right. Is that my name is Frederick? This is my wife Penelope, and this is our 2 children. So your call into our realm came entirely at the behest of my father, Bosch. He seems to have seen some strange dealings out the woods, and he was hoping that you would be able to investigate.
Sort of strange happenings.
Um, well, it's really that in the in pitch blackness is that he assumes that he has seen creatures that were made of pure shadow dancing about in the trees um, in between the cottages. But I've tried to assure him multiple times that it's just more than likely just some stray animal. But he seemed insistent and thought you might be able to bring about a solution. Penelope adds in, it doesn't do us any particular concern that you might have to charge us for this, but it would be really kind of you if you were to dissuade my father-in-law's concerns.
We will certainly get to the bottom of this situation.
So Brady begins to walk up to the 2 of them, but then immediately he gets snagged by one of the 2 children. Is that Alexander, the male one, who just begins stroking him? Say, you have the most adorable pet cat, and he's doing everything he can in order to just try to squirm out of this, but
Oh, he does not enjoy being confined. Please release your grip upon the feline child.
Yeah, just whatever you do, don't molest their material. And Brainy breaks himself free and he dusts himself off. Hmm. You Denarians are quite extraordinary people.
Are quite extraordinary. Thank you. And Otto gives a thumbs up.
Um, well, we won't take up too much more of your time, as we'll go ahead and we will get a statement from your father, and then we will uh, work immediately from that point. So, Brittany gives a bow, starts walking towards the exit. Come on, Otto, let's get out of here.
Otto follows.
So, they make it back out into the front porch where
However, as soon as you
Marin.
enter the door, Cube seems to like kind of flop over as he was quite literally right up against like the door, like listening to every word.
Mhm. So, Bosch has pulled out a pretty familiar looking pipe. It's just very thin and vertical looking pipe, and with smoke is coming from the tip.
And that means?
Well, I mean, so he's just laying out, standing on the porch as well, and he's giving a casual smoke.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure that my family has said that my concerns are um, a little bit eccentric, but as I'm certain that I know what I saw, I've had enough time to acquaint myself with the local fauna, and this still feels quite different to me somehow.
Meanwhile, like Cube's just seeming like dead silent, making sure to like kind of stay behind Marin.
Well, certainly, it piqued your magical senses. Yes, Bosch.
Say magic.
Well, yes, you're a very talented wizard. Certainly, if it was supernatural in origin, it would have alerted you in some mystical sense, would it not?
As I know nothing about magic, it's precisely the reason that I had asked you to arrive here.
Otto leans into Brainy and says, "Perhaps he has been afflicted with some memory trouble."
So, suffices to say is that this has not improved Brady's mood in the slightest. Um, he simply just taps out on the side and says, "Okay, I'm gonna need a moment." And he trots off, off of the side of the front porch and then into the grass.
Cube actually starts to follow Brainy with him into the grasses. He's actually kind of going on all fours, like making sure, like, stay low in there.
Marin turns to Bosch. You'll have to excuse us. It's our work order is a little bit of a new one for us.
Oh yes, take all of the time you need, and as if you do need anything but from me, don't hesitate to ask.
Hmm. Then I suppose I do have one question.
Oh yes, what might that be?
Judging by Brainy's attitude, you've never met him before, correct?
Not that I can recall. I mean, I'd certainly be able to remember something like a talking cat. It's just not something that you put in a basket and bowl away somewhere.
Oh, I see. Actually, this isn't the first time that we've met people that are from a different realm, but yet similar to our friends. Marin turns to look at Brainy and then turns to look at Otto. Two people that simultaneously knew each other for a long time, and yet not at all. You see, our friend was hoping to find a familiar face. And in a way he did, but it's not exact.
Hmm. I have no doubt that you have dealt with anything less than that. Um, we are a simple farming family, and we don't understand too many of the extremities when it comes to interdimensional travel. But I suppose anything out there might be potentially possible.
You think so?
If it were to help at all, let me go ahead and let me give you this. He hands Mare
Uh-huh.
another piece of paper. It is a flyer that was clearly the one that tipped Bosch into summoning them to this realm. But it is also the exact same flyer that Brady had distributed all across the multiverse, asking for people to potentially join.
Oh, so this letter made it all the way here. You know, actually, I think it might mean more if you were the one to give this to him.
Hmm.
So she passes the flyer back into Bosch's hands.
Well, it seems like things are a little bit tense between your compatriots at the moment, but as soon as I get an opportunity, I will do just that.
That's perfect. It's been a long and weary journey, so I think even the littlest sign of hope would mean something. Especially if
Ah,
it comes from a friendly face.
you seem to speak with a lot of wisdom about this. And so he turns around and then, yeah, he just walks through the cottage door back into the cottage.
Meanwhile, in the tall grasses, his Cube is pretty much like yeah, following thing very well, like keeping an eye out like over his shoulder, and he's like kind of saying his name, like trying to get his attention, even though he's trying to have one of his brooding moments.
Well, so Brady has gone slightly beyond brooding at this point, is that he has actually started to he has actually managed to bring himself to tears, and yeah, is beginning to wipe away just the wet spots of his fur with the tips of his paws.
Cube actually decides to help out by using part of his costume, like specifically his little cape to help wipe him away. But he also
Hmm.
says like, Brady, listen to QB. Brady.
Uh, it breaks my heart, QB. The Bosch I knew really didn't have much of a relationship with his family, and it was due to the fact that he was completely and totally devoted to the
QB
practice of
practically checks
magic.
in because they're fake. And QB explains, "His Frederick should not be anywhere. Here, here, he with others in QB's home. Don't you remember? Home. Frederick shouldn't be here. He helping others while QB gone."
They could have traveled here just after uh, they found Bosch in this realm.
QB is starting to look like he's getting a little frustrated. And he says, "Believe QB. QB would have been told by other friends there. Here,
Look,
that's
you
not
can't
him."
convince me that that isn't Bosch. Okay, Bosch is my
QB,
master. Bosch.
QB actually says, QB not talking about Bosch.
Uh, I don't know. Maybe this was a mistake.
QB like pretty much like kind of pets brain and he's purring. And he said, and QB will help Bosch. QB promises. But Brainy has to believe Cubey when Cubey thinks something is fake.
Hmm. All right. Well, probably it would be best to figure out what this potential anomaly might be. Maybe it has
Cubey
something
nods
that
and
will
like
be able to bring us all out of this.
yeah, Cubey pretty much picks up Brainy and starts like kind of lightly jogging back to the others while just kind of like carrying Brainy like kind of how like Simeon could have kind of like haphazardly like hold a cat.
So meanwhile, with Marin and Otto, he must
Yeah,
be
you guys
Meanwhile,
see Cubey pretty much bringing Brainy back.
he must be taking this pretty harsh, even more so than we met when we met his version of Otto.
it is very distressing for him to continue to run into people that should know him and do not. I understand his dismay.
Yeah. I suppose I've gone through something similar, though it actually turned into something for the positive. You remember
Cubey
that Duke,
actually
right?
I'm sorry, remember whom?
You remember that Duke, right?
Oh, yes, yes. The insufferable one.
Well, there's at least one realm where he's not that insufferable.
and
And
anyway, Cubey like pretty much arrives at you guys and puts Brainy back down and kind of points towards the woods. Is gotta gotta do what they ask. Cubey will explain when we're away from here.
Oh? Um, all right, I suppose.
Okay, so
And
they.
yeah, Cubey's kind of like leading the others like around, even like using one of his like shadow like tendrils to kind of like also pull along Brainy while also like pulling the other two, who like Marin and Otto, with his other actual hands.
So eventually,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
Brainy does say, okay, that's enough, that's enough. I can walk.
And yeah, after Brady says that, like the Shadow Claw pretty much like disappears, like as if like it just like was shown on my son and it just stopped existing.
Uh,
And yeah, like Cube quickly like kind of goes ahead of them towards the was that Bosch mentioned.
mhm.
Okay, so what's going on?
And Cube just looks around a bit, like making sure to check everything is like fine with, and like they're all in there.
As
And I'm
QB
gonna
means
be
well in this situation, but you also have to figure that he spent the most of his life completely and totally on his own. I haven't known anything except for a family. This family. And to see them
Cube
in
pretty
there
much.
actually all completely and totally happy, getting along, to actually see Bosch present with them, instead of within the chambers trying to do everything he could to further the cause of the Denarians.
While you're talking, Cube pretty much comes back and does just a few more glances and pretty much brings everyone down and it says, "This is like Beasley."
Oh, honey. Marin kneels down to get to Cube's level. Yeah, because I don't think Cube's ever seen alternate versions of the people we've known, right?
Cube's kind of looking a little frustrated and said, "As Cube knows what Cube sees, it like what Havoc told the Cube.
No, 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 no.
Remember?"
Okay, yeah, yeah. The kid is actually quite astute. You know, I thought it would take you forever to figure this part out.
Huh?
And so, yeah, standing on a stump in a short distance in the woods is Beasley.
what?
See, yeah, he knew it. And yeah, Cube immediately like spits right towards Beasley, and he's already ready for a fight. He's got his claw on his left, and he's practically glaring at Beasley. He practically growls, "Also, let Bosley go."
So, I can let him go. I wasn't actually the person who trapped him here. As that he takes a moment in order to light a cigarette with a lighter, put it between his lips.
My God. Cuvee is starting to look like he is getting dangerously close to Beasley.
Cubey, get back! You don't know what he's capable of.
Beasley does not know what Cube is capable of.
Cuvee pretty much Charles. Because Cuvee will only he say what and so let Bosch go or else.
Unfortunately, it's a little bit beyond my power to do so.
Then who has Bosch?
Say, Bosch has Bosch. But it's the first time Bosch is living the life that he has always wanted. He has
Certainly,
his family by his side. He has no personal regrets about spending his entire existence tucked into some mythical tome.
Cuvee pretty much says, so you admit it's fake.
Well, maybe fake is the wrong way to put it. Probably the better way to say.
Cuvee's gonna go and grab a Beasley.
Uh-huh. Okay, so give me an attack roll.
All right. And so that'll be a 20D.
All right.
Damn, get it.
Get him!
Yeah, he's got the lightning reflexes going for him.
So I believe, yeah, that's 20 successes. His counter is 15.
Oh yeah, Cuvee
So
practically grabs him, like pretty much like he's practically holding him in this like seemingly of like bone iron grip, of like looking like at any minute he could just crush him like a balloon, or just staring at her with practically nothing. He's got like some of scribbled eyes on like an eternally smiling face. And he's particularly got one claw that's like his thumbs pressed right up against like Beasley's neck. And Cuvee, hey, pretty much, and Cuvee pretty much said, is like, you are going to come with us, and you will stop this by admitting what you've done, and
yeah.
you will not complain.
Well, if you say so, if you think it's going to help. He presses his
Cuvee
lips.
pretty
He
much
gives
smiles.
another. He presses his lips. He gives another puff of smoke from the cigarette that he just placed in his mouth.
Cuvee practically slashed the cigarette into multiple little shreds in response. And Cuvee just practically gutturally snarls, and no smoking.
Well, I'm willing to respect somebody else's house rules. That's for certain.
Cuvee growls at him, and he's practically like walking past everyone while holding Beasley like in his grip. Of like he just looks so dumb and like he is angry. He looks like it's taking so much of his mental strength to not just completely pop a Beasley right here and now.
Hey, maybe I didn't know what Cubey was capable of.
So yeah, they make their way back into the cottage. QB is leading, and he's still clutching Beasley in his shadow magic.
Yep, in his pretty much thrall gauntlets. And Cuvee pretty much pushes open the door.
So yeah, they walk into the center of the cottage again. QB is holding Beasley in the grip of his shadow magic.
Yep, my thrall gauntlets to be specific.
Hmm. And so they enter the cabin,
I'll do
and
that.
so Bosch and his family are in the exact same place that they as they were, still enjoying the time at the hearth in front of the fireplace when the four of us approach. Bosch approaches them. He says, "Oh, it looks as though you might have already found something."
Oh, yes, we've got a cat.
Cuvee holds up a Beasley in response to this.
Yeah, a cat. You know,
Hmm.
it's precisely as my family said, is that you're not trying to do anything except prove to me that there is nothing out in the woods.
Could this not have been the creature moving in the darkness?
Uh, I think you insulted my lucidity by telling me that the thing that I was fearing was out in the darkness was just some mere black cat.
Would it not match your description? A being of darkness moving in the shadows.
Um,
This is
well,
a black cat, sir.
Cuvee kind of like sort of glares at Otto's direction, since technically he also fits the profile.
oh, I would venture to say that your compatriot over there is using a little bit more black magic than the cat potentially is. Uh, I know what I can see with my naked eye, and I see that that thing is spilling all over when it comes to animate shadows that are capable of holding felines.
I mean, not technically, like in like how it is right now. It just looks like a gauntlet that looks like it's made of bone. So yeah, we kind of slipping.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So suppose this isn't the creature you're looking for. Then what we can do is we can keep searching. She looks at Brainy, just kind of like a sort of wink. If you want, you could possibly tell me if there's more descriptors that you're looking for, right?
Um,
And we can just take this cat and do what must be done with the cat. Right?
Cuvee, Cuvee is still like holding him like
Otto
like,
chimes in. Oh yes, we could most certainly execute this cat.
Not execute! Oh my gosh!
You said what must be done.
What must be done? Oh my gosh.
Cuvee like tries to like save face with like Otto means return to actual owner.
Yes, actual owner.
Execute the return of the cat to its owner.
You'll have to forgive my friend. His programming was not made in common.
okay,
Yes.
you hear Frederick chime in from the background here. Says these people are barking mad. As I told you that probably nothing would come from this little investigation. I think that I've seen that now with my own eyes.
This whole investigation has been nothing short of a mess.
Let me
Hold
tell
on.
you is that we put ourselves in a situation where we haven't quite been ourselves lately. Is if you will just do me the favor and allow us to reconvene, we can come back here and we can come with a much more logical explanation for what it is that you saw. Uh, so
Hmm.
Brandy
Wait
explains
a
this,
minute.
and then he immediately starts backing out into the foyer again.
What Marin does is that she rummages through her bag and she takes out something familiar to her. She takes out the. She takes out the shell horn that her uncle gave long ago. I'd like to apologize on behalf of everyone for the utter failure so far. You see, it's been our first order in a while since we lost our home.
Uh, well, I can see that you are certainly apologetic about it.
Yeah. Um, you know, it's been really difficult. In particular, I've lost everything I've known. I lost my friend. I lost both my old home and my new home. And I lost my uncle. She stares at the shell horn. This is all that I have left of him now. She offers to let Bosch hold it.
Okay,
Here.
Bosch reaches out and he takes the conch.
And, actually, before all of this, I spent a year in an entirely different realm that's almost like ours, but minor differences. But even then, I could have gone back home, right? I could have pretended that none of this had ever happened. But if I did that, then I knew it wouldn't be the same. I wouldn't be helping anyone out. I wouldn't be bettering the realm I lost. I wouldn't be bettering the realm that I visited. And even though they're gone and it still hurts, I still have something to hold on to. Something that isn't fake. I can hold on to the memories. And no matter what, if I spent my time back down there with my family, then I know I wouldn't be the same. They wouldn't remember me as I am. They would have just remembered me as the plain old priestess that never did anything to better Metaluna.
God damn it, he said that how we were being like harsh with our words.
So yeah, you say all of this to Bosch, and he takes a moment and he listens to you. Truly, you have been through a lot, but I hardly understand what that has to do with me.
And so, next idea. If you could do me a favor real quick, and just take my hand. If I can ask you to trust me with that much, then I won't ask for anything else.
Very well
I'm
then.
going to use emotional control.
Okay, so he turns the conch back over to you, and he does take your hand as you requested.
All right, gonna roll.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, you could do this.
I have a single success.
Mm-hmm.
We
And
about to go murder
so
Hobo with
Marin
this?
tries to dredge up the old memories that Bosch had.
Mm-hmm.
To no success. He's kept a tight grip on the memories that he doesn't want to see anymore. And so all she sees is the happy family that's in this room. Oh. So that's how it is. She lets go of his hand.
Did,
Wait a minute.
did
What
you
if Cuba
not
can help by
just
like reciting? Wait a minute. What
Mimi?
if Cuba helps by like reciting things that,
Mimi,
that are said in
Mimi.
the past?
All right, you're doing it
Sorry.
again. Okay, you're getting too far away from the action.
Sorry, I'm
All right.
sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just want to help make it better.
Uh-huh. So, well, you also, okay, let me get around to this section. Bosch removes his hand, looks up at Marin, and he says, "Did you not just surmise that, You perchance knew somebody who was exactly like me, but from another universe.
Huh. That's what I thought, but I don't know what to believe anymore.
Hmm. Well, I'm sorry that this has taken you so far away from what is familiar to you. I wish I could do
Yeah.
something to help, but as I had already said, I am really just only one humble farmer.
Yeah.
Well, we are sorry to bring trouble, extra dimensional trouble, to the doorstep of a gentleman and his family who are peaceful and lead or have no part of such matters.
Okay.
All
So,
right, Cube, he is staying behind,
mhm,
still holding on to the cat
mhm.
or Beasley, and he's just like looking at Bosch, and like suddenly he speaks and like in Frederick's voice, and like it's pretty echoey, like something long distant, yeah, but still something unrecognizable. Well, it says like young one, I worry for my father, and he's any reaction from like Bosch?
So the Frederick that is in the room immediately says, "Okay, why is it imitating me now?"
Cube is still going. And I feel guilt, and like he's repeating everything that Frederick pretty much vented to him about like back in the Barrens and things like that. He feels guilty, and that even though like he and his father had like so many rough patches, he still views him as his father.
So Bosch says that the merman was more than certain that they had known a version of me in the past. All they could be potentially doing is echoing something that you might have said in its own voice.
All right, I think this next thing that I'm gonna say will be the one where I try to like snap a Bosch out of it.
All right.
Uh, and that would be like a charm thing, right?
I want you to roll based on this power that you're using.
Okay. Um, uh, and so like Cube pretty much repeats he's as as like again in Frederick's voice. Do you think he remembers me? And yeah, now I am going to do a roll. Let me see here. So do I roll 3D or something?
Mm-hmm. Same amount as the power.
All right.
Okay, that's a 2.
Hmm.
So
Can
his
I
own
use a
his well power is a 7.
hmm, can I try again like using one of my resolve points?
Okay, well you can roll a 3 again.
Hmm. On.
So in that situation, if you would have gotten all crits, then I probably would have allowed it, but it is not working.
Oh, damn it! What is it gonna take for this to work?
At this point, Penelope stands up and she says, "Okay, I don't understand the meaning of this. You hired these people in order to find an anomaly that is out in the desert, but all they have seemed to do is to bring their own grief realm into our living room."
Cuvée repeats it, and just again and again in Frederick's voice.
As Bosch walks up to them and say, just please go.
Wait, who's he talking to? Is he talking
He's
to
talking
me?
to you, yes.
But just before he does go, oh, like he mutters one more thing that he copied from Frederick's voice, saying, "Will you ever see me again?" And he just shuts the door.
All right. So they move from
Well,
there once again out to the front of the cabin.
she turns to Beasley. I bet you're eating this up, aren't you?
With relish, angelfish.
How does it feel to know that Bosch is more stubborn than you are?
Bosch is not stronger than me.
Okay, Cube is like now visibly shaking, and oh boy, he is. Oh boy, here we go. He's trying to get a rear back and just completely slam Bosch's head right into the nearest tree.
It's not worth it.
Okay, well, you actually make a move in order to begin to do harm upon Beasley when he disappears from your hand.
You could have done that the whole time, you know.
Oh, not any time, only when it was funny.
Yeah, go choke on one of your cigars and leave us alone.
I
Yes,
think you're
pay
missing
some-
a key component about all of this. Bosch is only a person who is as strong as his abilities as a wizard. But all along, that he has always craved to have something else. The respect of his family, the ability to be a family, as opposed to all of his responsibilities of being a Denarian wizard. This is not a this is not something that I have granted him. This is something that he has granted himself.
Okay, Cube practically just screams and just lashes out at B. He's just screaming, "Liar!" Or
I'm not a liar. I'm the person who is trying to teach the four of you the most universal truth. Is that every man's weakness is the thing that they want the most.
So, Otto kind of looks to Brainy and Marin and Cube and says, "Well, the Bosch that we know wants to be a Denarian wizard and wants to protect the multiverse and wants to um, know the truth of things and not be clouded. So, how do we appeal to that portion of Bosch?"
So
Cube is like pretty much silent at this point and like clenches his little bug hand and just say and like make him want to protect again.
Brady immediately jets up his head. And he says, um, oh. Well, Beasley, what can I say? I think you've really gotten the best of us this time. I think we'll all be on our merry way. Say, come on, everybody. They walk
Oh,
away. And eventually Beasley, just disappears from the presence of them.
Rainy,
Okay.
what are you doing?
I didn't want to say this in front of Beasley, but I think that Otto actually might be onto something. You remember when we were
Well?
trapped in the infernal realm? We were able to get out because I was able to take my compressed faith within with of the goddess Dinah and unleash it at just the right moment. I suspect that somewhere around here, um, the plant in which Bosch actually contains. Let me start over. I suspect that somewhere around here, the plant that contains Bosch's faith in Dinah is around, and we should go and search for it. If we do,
That
we
entire
might
wood.
probably not in the wood, probably still somewhere within the cabin.
How are we supposed to get back in? Didn't all of us just get kicked out?
Well, we would
Cube
have
actually
to.
raises his hand and says, Cube can sneak in.
Well, I was hoping that all of us would sneak in. We would have to comb the area, try to find where this is, and then reawaken the spirit of Dinah within uh, Bosch. It might be the only thing that will break him out of this.
All right. Well, if you have a plan.
Let's go.
All right.
All right.
So the
So that's
team's resolve is now to uh, sneak back into the cabin in search of a mystic item that might be able to return Bosch's faith in Dinah to him. And we are going to do that exploration right after this break. So we'll go ahead and we'll take a moment to refresh ourselves, and then we'll go ahead and come back for the second half of All in the Wizardry. Thank you everybody for playing so far. We'll be back right after this short message. Thank you everybody for watching. We're back. Welcome back to part 2 of One Shots from the Meowing Portal. And when we last left off, we found our party in a precarious position, while the presence of the group's archenemy Beasley has made himself known. It appears as though the archwizard Bosch is in an ideal world of his own making. And Brainy's solution to this is to search this cabin for the plant-like object that contains the faith all Denarian wizards place on the goddess Dinah. And so, after the lights go off in the cabin, Brainy casts a spell which teleports them back into the foyer in the front of the cabin.
all right. Everyone's asleep, huh?
Well, we're going to have to be relatively quiet. I'm pretty sure if they were to find us sneaking around their cabin, they would have no further reason to trust us with anything.
Cube nods.
Okay.
Let us not get caught then.
That's so.
Yeah, Cube pretty much said, and yeah, pretty much in response to that, Cube is pretty much, you know, like, like quietly, but still, like, fairly quickly, like, kind of goes up the walls and is, like, hanging on the ceiling.
Mhm. All right.
Well, there should be
And
no
so,
problem. Give me that.
Well, so we're
yeah, so
looking
Cube
around.
will look
We
around
are
for, like,
giving. So we're going around. We are giving investigation checks. At any of the objects that we see in the map in the room.
this is just like the bear in the raid all over again.
Mm-hmm.
So, Brainy,
Mm-hmm.
this plant that we're looking for, does it need sunlight or does it need little to no sunlight?
I have no way of knowing. It could be literally anything. It could be a potted plant. It could be a wall of ivy. Just whatever form that Bosch was able to distill it into.
You don't know your own master's plant?
Well, is that I think he had the foresight to not tell his cat apprentice where his favorite fern is, so he wouldn't shred it indiscriminately.
He sort of whispers like to Ray, Did you eat fern?
I
In case you guys can't tell, I'm
have
making a
nibbled.
Garfield reference.
Yeah, I've nibbled a leaf or two. I'm not going to lie about that.
Great.
I,
Thanks.
I
These are
nibbled a
so
leaf, but I
nice.
didn't digest.
So pretty much we gotta somehow find a plant that has the faith of Dinah in it. That's pretty much the gist.
Very much. Hmm. Perhaps
Does
I
your
can.
connection to the faith of Dinah give you any additional sensory input to this?
I mean, I went ahead and I did away with my own magical item back in the Inferno. But now that you mention it, perhaps there is something I might be able to drum up. As Brainy pulls off of his hat and he rifles around. Um, and he pulls out a dividing rod. It doesn't look like much. It looks like a wooden stick with two ends and a forward facing section. Say perhaps I'd be able to use it to detect magic that is close to the goddess.
Alright,
Well,
so we're gonna do our investigation checks.
Mm-hmm.
dude,
Alrighty.
my investigation is 2.
Well, my investigation is 6, so I'm probably gonna be one of the first to find it, even though like I technically like serving some kind of eldritch god moth.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be fair, science is 3, academics is 5, survival is 5, so I could like just this plant is made of plant.
It appears to be plant material.
Yes, indeed.
Th- Thanks, Marion.
You're
There's
very
my
welcome.
Very
investigation.
important.
All right. So his is
I
a
don't know
2.
much. Okay. Climate, I don't know very much about land plants, so I'm not sure how much I'll be of help, but I will do my very best.
Well, it
Hmm.
depends. Can you distinguish like 50% seed from 50% weed? You get it?
Oh, I get it.
SpongeBob reference.
I think I found something. It looks like it's a ladder that leads up to another story of this cabin.
Uh, with my perception, does QA also like help like with this like ladder thing, like the investigation things, and plus like QA is on the ceiling.
Mm-hmm. Uh, QB, since you're on the ceiling, do you think that maybe there's a hatch right at the top of this ladder?
All right, all right. Out of character, do I in fact see it?
Yes, you do.
All right, QA nods and like pretty much goes over to the hatch and like he like very carefully checks to see if like it is open.
All right, and so goes over and opens the passage, and there is definitely a path up there that leads to another section of the cabin. And it seems a little peculiar
Right.
to me. It looked as though that this place was only one story.
I would like to like poke my head up in the entrance and sort of like look around.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah, you poke your head into the entrance. You can see the whole of an entirely different room. It looks like it's made out of entirely different wood. The floors and the ceilings and the way that the decor is made up of entirely different types of furniture than that was in the main room.
Kiwi is sort of like hoist like his overlapping sort of skulls like in there. And then you guys like see what seems to be a streak of black, but then you guys realize it's sort of QA's shadow claws, and he sort of like motions to hold it.
One more time. Uh, Brainy takes a grip of QB's shadow claw, and then he moves from there upwards into this other section. So now,
Yeah, but after like climbing that, he also kind of motions for like Marin and Otto to like grab onto his hand.
Takes his hand.
Yeah.
Marin. All right, and once you do, QA pretty much hoists you two back up and like softly like places you on the floor, or like of this strange and new room that's has if supposedly nobody knows about, not even like Bosch down there.
uh, it's not an attic; it's a completely different cavern. It even
It's
looks
like
like the
an
force.
overlay.
It's like it's curiouser and curiouser. It's like we're in a completely different place.
I got that one.
Uh, you ain't just
Everyone
whis.
be on your guard. Sorry.
Say,
All right, QA is still gonna be like looking around for like this plant, whatever it may be.
nothing but a bunch of dusty old wooden furniture, and you kind of wonder if white people live in a cabin. They're just obsessed with wooden furniture. They everything is some kind of wood derivative.
QA kind of retorts, QA family would want to be here.
To be fair, if you're in an area with an abundance of wood, wouldn't you be using that for everything?
It seems a practical resource to use.
See? Otto agrees.
Well, if there are trees in the barrens these days, I would be more than certain that Lord Terrapin is not letting anybody cut them down.
Yeah, and who's
QA
gonna
nods,
stop
pretty
him?
much
Beatrice?
affirming of. Yeah. He pretty much QA pretty much confirms like what Bray assumes and nods.
These rugs in this um floor. I noticed in the bottom floor we had rugs and of the bearskin variety in each of the rooms. Is Bosch really going out there and killing all these bears, or are these rugs this
He
plant?
doesn't remember seeing any other her her critters other than Beasley.
I would.
No, bearskin rugs, like the carpets on
Yeah,
these floors.
I'm saying like QA hasn't seen a lot of animals, so like
Oh,
where would Bosley like get the bears from if there wasn't a lot of animals like in general?
Uh, I would assume that it is actually his son doing this. Great white hunter that he's always been. I
QA
mean,
sort of like
I'm
looks
sure it
over
comes
there.
as no surprise to anybody that I've had more than my fair share of arguments with Frederick.
Kind of weird that
Seriously?
like you have a bear. It's kind of weird that you have like a bear relationship that like with like your boss and like his, like QA actually has a better relation with the prince more than you do, Brady.
Well, it suffices to say is that we're both like a son to Bosch, but I was the one who actually wanted to follow in the quote unquote family business.
Oh, yeah, it kind of makes sense why he probably would be more kind to QB then.
All right, so Otto would lead an investigation here,
absolutely.
making
Let's go ahead
that
and do that.
observation about the bearskin rug.
And since
Uh,
I am still looking around for the plant, may I also make an investigation for the plant?
Hmm?
What is that
All
in the
right.
corner?
there's your. That's only 2 successes for me.
I mean, I guess we can all investigate the bear rug.
Well, 3 6s and a 2.
3 6s is fantastic. That is 6 successes
I'm gonna
alone.
do
Plus
anything.
a 2.
Plus your 2. Yeah, you're doing great.
All right. What's the results for me, Barnaby?
Yeah, I don't know if you need me to do anything, because
Yeah.
that's some successes. I can just sit here too. That's fine.
So yeah, QB has the largest investigation of this round, and is that they wanted to check the bear rug. Is that QB, has the forethought to just completely and totally capsize it.
What are you doing?
What?
Just flip it over onto its back.
Oh, okay. Yep, cute. Hey, pretty much just lifted it up.
Boo.
What do you want?
Oh, I ain't got no body.
Why are you here?
I'm telling you, you're wasting your time. You're not going to change the old man's mind with cheap little tactics like this.
Question.
Hmm?
Can I just pull the bear rug back right over Beasley again?
I mean, yeah, if you want to, you just roll a bear rug over him. Goes, hey,
And yeah, as soon
wait
as
a second.
he
And then yeah, he goes under the rug again.
yeah, Cube just like lowered the rug as soon as like Beasley like started speaking up and being obnoxious again, and he goes over and places and yeah, it just sort of moves on
Good job,
Uh,
QB.
and is still looking for a plant.
I'm beginning to resent taking this form. You don't
Cube very
become
much
the
doing that as you
equal of
should.
your arch enemy. What you need to do is you need to become the opposite of your arch enemy. I should have turned into a coyote, something like that.
No, I say you should have turned into a rat.
That would be
Pretty much
appropriate.
also subjects his if he says, "Nuh-uh, Beasley should be what he actually is," and then he just says, "Leech."
Oh,
Huh?
you have really done me in this time. I am so not going to the prom with you.
What's prom?
Cube has no idea either. It's like,
Oh,
hey,
brother.
hey,
So Brady makes his way
hey.
to a door, and then yeah, he swings the door open.
And also, when Brady does so, like Cube kind of like peeks his head around like the door frame and also like follows him in.
Hmm. Looks like an antique cannon.
And at the door, Otto approaches as well.
Uh-huh. I mean, I guess given enough time and enough boredom, is that you would eventually begin to develop an interest in antique firearms.
I want to take a look at that cannon.
Cube sort of like is like sort of looks a little bit uncomfortable when looking over like the vintage gun display, and he just sort of
Just
backs away.
make sure you don't touch anything.
Otto gets 4 successes looking at the cannon.
Mm-hmm. So I will count that as like the most that yeah he's able to have. Well, one of the higher rolls that he's capable of achieving. So it occurs to you that you lift up the barrel of the cannon, and when you do, is that the an area to the right of the rug drops down.
Hey, Brainy, what do you make of this?
Well, it's a secret passage. I don't know why somebody's happy home needs a secret passage, even if that
But
happy
is
home looks as though like
Cube kind of like also adds in sort of too. This also secret. The other secret.
it? Yeah, this is a secret within a secret, but isn't the space beneath this floor the living quarters of Boz of Bosch and his family?
Cube like kind of raises his hand and he says, "Cube will check," and he'll once again be like the first like sort of like sort of like be brave enough to like trying to venture in whatever passages there are, and just like he's gonna check around to see if this is a fact, right back into the living space.
Mm-hmm.
I guess this could also be what they. Oh, what's the common word? Man cave?
Cube
Say,
looks. Cube seems a little confused. Who's said, "Is why me in there? Only predators should have caves."
the Darians are people of intellect. They would rather have a study than a man cave. So Brainy walks over to look down as well. Ah,
Right, so this is
it's another room. It's of a completely
what?
different scheme. What is with this place?
What?
But
Okay.
yet again, bearskin rugs. Brainy.
Yeah, well, I've been noticing that too, and they're just kind of repeating in a strange way.
Cube is pretty much kind of mutters like, "Not even Cube killed this many bears."
It's as if
What?
they only exist as a remnant, as though placed randomly by some sort form of artificial intelligence, in order to give us the illusion that we are in the area that we currently are in.
Is this a computer program, Brainy?
Cube sort of corrects him like, "Labyrinth. Remember back in Inferno? You're in one."
Yeah, we're in one. We're in a labyrinth of a simple cabin of a version of my old mentor that professes to be a simple farmer.
I don't know. Back when I tried to search his mind, he kept everything under lock and key, so perhaps these different rooms act as failsafes? I mean, if he can't find what he doesn't want to remember, then it's out of sight, out of mind, right?
Right. If every turn leads to another place that doesn't actually get him, further along, and it's all just a repeat of the same, location over and over again. Where how can he make progress to get himself out of this?
So you hear, yeah, just the very familiar laughter in the background. Interesting turn of phrase that you use there, Angelfish.
Okay, as soon as Beasley starts talking again, Cube is kind of like goes over to like some of the other things that he's. Okay, so pretty much when so Beasley appears and like starts talking again, and Cube like goes over to like some of the more like things that carrying like more decorative things, and he's and then right now he's starting to like empty out a vase.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Hubie looks down and then begins emptying out a vase.
All right, Beasley, got anything to say while I'm doing this?
Okay, look, I already know what your little friend is up to. I'm going under the vase in a second. Before I do, perhaps you guys would at least be part ways interested in hearing me out.
But it's too late, as Cube pretty much sticks the vase right on top of him.
So his voice echoes a bit as he says, "Well, I gave you a chance. Toodles."
Wait a minute, did he leave with the vase still on his head, or?
I mean, he left with leaving the vase behind him.
All right, after that, Cube he pretty much picks it back up and goes back to like saying it as it was before.
Marin uses the. Marin picks up the water using her magic and puts it back in the vase.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go.
And yeah, Cube pretty much sets it back as it was, and yeah, goes back with the others. And Cube pretty much grumbles, just squished him when Cube had the chance.
You sure we didn't want to listen to him at least a little bit?
Eh, that's assuming
Cube
that we ever
practically
had
like,
the chance. Brady walks over to the perimeter of the cabin where there would be a front door. Looks out a window, And so,
Is there anything out there?
quite a lot, actually.
What the hell?
We're at the exterior of an entirely different cabin.
What is this?
QA is the QA is looking like again like what is happening?
Uh, what did you say to Beasley that decided to set him off in that way?
Who are you talking to?
I think
Marin?
Marin, like you were the only one who really actually like talked to Beasley. Like
The
Yeah,
rooms kept
he,
changing,
he,
and
he
you
was
said,
interested in what you said.
Out of sight, out of mind?
out of sight, out of mind. I don't think that's quite it. What's in the eye of the
wait a
beholder?
It's in the eye of the beholder.
wait a minute. I think I might have an idea. All right, so I think I might have an idea of how we progress this. Okay, what I'm thinking that QA should do is like do some like sort of like do some like eldritch communing and maybe like lay Mazeltov like kind of like sort of like take control of his body again, like kind of like what happened to the Barons, like when he finally came back,
Mm-hmm.
But
and
wouldn't
maybe
Muzzletop be too big
I mean
to
she
fit
is
anyway?
a no. I'm saying like she'll be puppeting like QA's body and like seeing through him.
Uh, all
So
right,
yeah, pretty
so
much she'll be in his body while he's like kind of in his mind.
okay, so in short, QB is going to try to project themselves onto Mazeltov.
Yep, he's gonna see if Mazelthod can help like doing this with like whatever she's capable of. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Worst comes to worst, Brainy still has his hat.
Hmm. Yes. Well, let's give it a try.
Is that
All
you
right.
make an attempt to channel Mazelthod? You, after a few moments of attempting to do this, you still find yourself in your own body.
What? Oh, come on.
Mazelthod doesn't seem to be here, and that is peculiar because Mazelthod is usually in any plane.
Maybe this is because.
What?
We are
Jeez.
doesn't really exist. It's not like a real plane. It's not
We're
like
in the
we're
memories. Is it perhaps that we're in the memories that Bosch has conjured for himself?
Ah, I
That's
think
why you
that
don't
is a very
recognize those
question.
coordinates.
We are not in Bosch's dimension. We are in Bosch.
we're in
Uh,
Bosch's ideal fantasy for his life is where we are. We're not in a real place. We're in his thoughts and his
we're
imagination.
literally in his subconscious.
His subconscious was wise enough to know that I had spread out those flyers. His subconscious was intelligent enough to know that if anything was out of sorts, that he would contact us.
Well, that must mean that there's still like give me a good way like that means there's still a way to like get him step him out of this because like if his subconsciousness is doing this, then that must mean he's having some little doubt.
Hey, Brainy?
Yeah?
I remembered something earlier. I was hoping that Bosch himself would have delivered it to you. Do you happen to have your own copy of the Help Wanted posters that you had?
Um,
He
yeah.
still had his own.
So Brady, yeah, pulls down his hat and he pulls out a copy of the Help Wanted ad and he looks at it. This was my boy.
Sorry, go ahead. Let us use this appeal for help that ultimately originated from Brainy and thus Bosch to appeal to Bosch's sense of duty.
Hmm. I think that means that this is Bosch's subconscious way of knowing that we still exist. That doesn't help us figure out what we're supposed to do with it, though.
Well, perhaps if we were to present it to Bosch.
Hmm.
Hmm.
All right. So,
Hmm.
everybody, retrace your steps. We want to exit exactly the way that we came in.
All right,
Assuming
and
that'll get us out.
all right, Cube will do his best to use his extra appendages and everything thing to get everyone back through all the secret passageways.
Mhm. All right. So they continue. So everybody continues to backtrack. They're going in precisely the way that they were going before.
Yes.
Uh huh.
Yes.
Um. All right. And so
I can't
they find themselves
guarantee
back
it.
into the very first chamber that they were in previously, and they are in the foyer again.
Perhaps the logic I was working with would still be similar, just backwards. If he has his own poster and he can show you, then maybe, just maybe, if you show your version.
Hmm.
We should have done this from the beginning. But
Well, at any rate, we're going to have to wait for sunup again. So we might as well just exit the cabin for now.
very well.
All right,
Curious
Cube
though.
will follow the others out, making sure their exit is as quiet as possible.
Mhm.
You guys can tell he's done this before.
I'm
So
curious. In case, did everyone else keep their poster too?
Cube actually retrieves his poster from inside his hoodie thing and says, "Remember, Cube never left it."
Hmm. Otto?
Otto keeps his stored in his chest cavity and opens up his chest cavity and produces said scroll.
And Marin herself takes out the poster from the waterproof bag. Then I think what's best in order. I've soured the good graces that I had, so I think I'll just give this to you. After all, you're the one who made it. She hands the poster to Brainy.
Seeing this, Cube actually does the same, giving his little poster to Brainy, even though his is a little crinkly.
hmm so Brainy gathers all the posters.
Yeah, Otto also gives his and says, "If it will help, let us, combine our desire to help."
That when I handed all of these out to you, it was at a time when I didn't think that anybody within the realm of Metaluna was going to follow me in my research. So I had to go far and wide in order to find anybody who might have been willing to participate in all this. I can't help but feel as though if I didn't meddle in the way that I did, that things wouldn't have been better. We wouldn't have had crooks and ne'er do wells like Beasley following us around and attempting to do damage to any of the good that we were hoping to do across the multiverse. I think it's significant that this is the only sign that we've seen that Bosch still remembers me.
Then use it.
Hmm.
Because if it weren't for you and for Bosch, none of us would be here.
Cube nods and as as Cube promised, Cube will help both of you.
Beasley would have done this either way. That's what I fully believe. But with us combined, we have a fighting chance.
Yes. Well, Bosch, if there's any part of you that still remembers who we are, please be with us now. And so they leave the cabin again. And by the time they leave the cabin, day has broken. And they are standing in the middle of a field with a very large, overgrown valley of very bright pink flowers.
Ah, those weren't there before, were they?
They absolutely
He
weren't.
eventually pokes his head up with these practically covered in the pink flower. It says, "No, Kibe likes them though." And kind of sneezes like the flowers all fall off him.
Hmm. Well, if they're here, Bosch must like them too.
I think we don't need to go back and find Bosch again. I think we've already succeeded. Now that we have this
Yes.
reminder that we exist, is that he's been able to lead us right to what we were looking for.
Alright, hearing this, Kibe picks several of the flowers and he has them in a bouquet. That he's holding in his little weird black insect hand. And yeah, he's standing with the others, so with this thing, kind of ready to like show it to Bosch if need be.
Okay, everybody else, grab some flowers too.
Yes, let us all grab flowers.
Very
Otto
well.
gathers a big bunch of flowers.
Puts them in his chest cavity.
Yes, and gathers more with his hands.
Kibe actually kind of motions for Marin to kind of like come down to his level,
Mm-hmm. What's that?
and Kibe takes one of the flowers that he picked and he kind of fastens it in like her hair. He did surprisingly well.
Aw, cutie. Thank you. You know, I bet you that Bosch would probably like a little flower crown like that too.
Kibe suddenly gets an excited look, and along with his bouquet, he's also making like a little flower crown for like both himself and a Bosch. And like when he comes back, he's wearing his own, and he's like carrying his own along with a little bouquet.
Say. So, Brainy, with a little bit of, flowers gathered in his inverted hat, he says, okay, well, these aren't real just yet, but I just assume that they will be as soon as we go back through the portal.
Might as well give it a shot.
Yeah,
Yep,
let's go.
let's do it.
So they go to the return portal. They find themselves back in the tent, carrying this big pile of flowers, and standing there in the middle of the tent is Bosch.
Okay, seeing this, like, Cube quite immediately, like, practically spreads over and just, like, hugs his legs, practically jumped onto his legs just to give him a hug.
Uh-huh. And so he reaches down and he starts patting QB on the head. I said, well, that's a wonderful assemblage that you had made. Say,
Yeah, Cube hands him the little crown he made, and he says, "It's for you."
I suppose it might actually be bigger than my head, but I think I could still wear it as a necklace around my neck.
Well, surprisingly to Vaj, like, Cube actually, like, fitted it, like, rather, like, actually pretty close to, like, Bosch's head size.
Say,
Hmm.
Master, where have you been all of this time? I says, I can't be sure. I felt as though that I was in a realm of darkness, is that completely and totally bereft of any movement or action, completely and totally seized by a darkness that was stronger than anything that I could control.
That
Easily.
sounds familiar.
I
Yeah.
guess the only way I was able to use my own magic to escape such a fate was within the confines of my own mind.
Are you fully in control of your faculties now, sir?
I believe I am. Say, these flowers, as that he sees rifling around the bouquets of pink flowers that everybody had brought in. Say, a long time ago, in my deepest hour of need, I had already destroyed the um, azalea bush that I had used in order to regain my faith to Dinah. Is I therefore would never have been able to destroy it again. However, you guys were able to resurrect me by destroying the version of it that had existed in my memory.
Oh, is that so?
Yes, it
Meanwhile,
was.
while all this is being said, like Kyubey is over like in some sort of room, and he's actually like taken off his bag, only to show that like there's practically way more flowers that you also like smuggled in, like not even for the reason of this, he just liked the flowers. And as soon as he was done, like letting out was practically a sea of flowers, he put his bag back on, and now he's just like sitting in the big pile.
Chest cavity of Otto opens up and more flowers pop out.
Mm-hmm. It looks
Huh.
like we're going to be doing a significant amount of redecorating in the next few days.
You're gonna need a bigger vase.
You guys are going to need a bigger tent. As I appreciate your efforts,
Yeah.
Brady, this is probably quite an achievement in order to be able to build all of this on your own. Well, I appreciate the vote of competence, Master. I just hate to think that I've taken you away from that ideal world that you had hoped to continue to live in. It's nonsense. I know as well as you do that while that realm may contain everything that I've hoped for myself and my family, that it was in no way real and it was in no way ideal.
Well, in response to this, Kyubey actually kind of gets out of the pile, will kind of shake himself up, and kind of goes up to Bosch again, and like while rummaging through his head bag again, and he actually pulls out something, which actually proves to be he like a fossilized tooth, and he holds it up to Bosch.
Hmm, what's this?
QA pretty much said, and your son wanted me to give you this.
Oh, yes, you were able to help many of the Metalunans escape to the realm of the Barons.
Yeah,
That
QA he also adds he misses you.
this may be the next place that we're going to have to travel to. If we hope to find the wish that will restore Premistera. He said, "You know about my quest?" He says, "It's the very thing that I would have done, Brady."
And QA is pretty much back to his like regular old kind of like the derpy self, like yay home.
Yay. Home.
Uh, yes, welcome
Feels
home.
good.
And that is the
Right.
end of today's adventure. Thank
All
you,
right, that was
everybody.
great.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, once again for tuning in to One Shots from the Meowing Portal. In our next episode, we travel once again to the Baron's Wasteland, where the colony that was occupied by the Premisterans comes into threat by a creature from QB's very distant past.
Oh boy, what's it gonna be?
Uh-huh.
Find out next time.
It's Transdimensional Park, a one shot from the Meowing Portal next time. And thank you, everybody, once again for playing along with me. Thank you to Game Night 00. Thank you to Marin Mermaid. Thank you to Shy Bunny Servant. Say,
Thank
well,
you.
yeah, we will
Yeah,
return
thank
soon with
you,
yet
Wayne, for the
another
awesome
episode.
session.
Oh, thank you very much. And we will return very soon with yet another installment of One Shots from the Meowing Portal. In the meantime, have a good night, everybody, and thank you very much for watching.
Good night.
Thank you and
See
good
ya.
night.
See
Good
ya.
night.
Bye.
Hello, everybody. So, thank you, everybody who has tuned in on multiple platforms in order to see uh, the most recent episode of One Shots from the Meowing Portal. This is, in fact, the second episode of the second season. And, well, of course, this, since this is mostly a plot that involves Brainy, you can clearly see that I was the person who was mostly behind the concepts behind it. And, well, suffices to say is that, usually it is when I write a story, it has a lot of it to do with, actual visceral role playing, not so much about, dice rolling or anything of that nature. But in uh so this was a story that I had wanted to tell for a while because while I've made a couple of hints in the previous episodes about what Brainy's relationship is with both Bosch and the crown prince of the village of Metaluna, um I really did not have an opportunity in order to get into um, a lot of specifics when it comes to both of those characters. So we got a little bit more in depth when it comes to that. So their story, a little bit, I admit, a little bit incongruent when it comes to, just the overall fantasy nature of the stories that we write. But nevertheless, is something that I really, want to tell, at some point that, I might even do something in the way of like probably like a light novels, just something um, committed totally to prose and, probably not something related directly to the role playing game. But yeah, thank you for well once again, it's really great that everybody played along. Everybody had some good concepts in order to add to this. In particular, I do appreciate the contributions from Game Night 00. Probably ended up writing the funnier part of the show, through role play and also Mimi at Shy Bunny Servant for adding a lot of um, action to the main part of the plot. So, it's been, I have to admit, it has been a little bit more difficult lately just putting together these episodes in particular, but, just simply because, my schedule has changed a lot, is that I'm not dedicating a lot of time to direct streaming simply because I am just really working really hard at my new job. But I do appreciate everybody um, for having a lot of faith in me and the continuation of this game that we're playing. So I think that might be all that I have to say at the moment. If anybody else remains in the chat and wants to ask a couple of questions, then you guys can feel free to do so. As you can already tell, is that we already have another episode planned, and so this is probably a part of a run of 6 out of the 12 total episodes that we at least have a synopsis for. So you can definitely expect a lot more one shots from the Meowing Portal um, in the coming months. So, yeah, thank you, everybody. Thank you particularly to Game Night 00, Queen Vampiress, and for tuning in during the live for this event. So you guys are the best. You guys are probably, probably one of the more committed people to the channel and what we do here. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much for tuning in and watching the stream. So I guess there might not even actually be any questions tonight. So I think probably the next thing I'll do is that for those of you who are watching on Twitch, I'm going to be doing a raid. I think I would like to pay a visit to. Well, I'll probably go to. Let me see. Let me see. We'll go over to Eldritch Grandpa right now. They're in the middle of playing Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. Of course, a very classic Nintendo RPG. So we're going to be paying a visit to them. Is that I haven't quite decided yet, but I think that I am going to be doing a stream on Saturday. It's going to be a solo stream, and it's probably more than likely going to be involve a new game. So I think I would like to do that, and also this coming Sunday, for the first time in a long while, we're going to go back to writing the RPG. I'm going to have Mimi at Shy Bunny Servant on again, and we are going to be talking about a brand new role playing game that she has been writing for some time now. So, thank you once again, everybody, for tuning in. Remember that BRINY means smart. Nothing is too hard if you use your head. Have a good night, everybody, and thank you very much for watching.